says someone like Estevez could be good. Not sure if he's been mentioned. I've just tuned in. Well, you tuned in at the perfect time because we're going to talk about right-handed pitcher Carlos Estévez from the Los Angeles Angels. 34 innings pitched this year for Estevez, 2.38 ERA, 0.74 WHIP, 8.5 strikeouts per nine, a 1.3 walk to nine ratio. That's fantastic. A 2.85 FIP. Man's been incredible for the Los Angeles Angels. They do not deserve him. He's 31 years old. He makes $6.75 million salary this year, and then he's a free agent at the end of the year. So there's, I guess, a negative there for you is that he would be a rental, but he'd be a damn good rental. And even though he's not a lefty, he's just that high leverage guy, and like you said, Jesse, there in the seventh and later that Mike Hazen is looking for.
Yeah, I think with a reliever, a rental is probably okay.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I'm sure Mike Hazen would love to have someone who has multiple years of control, as you normally expect. But yeah, Rengifo is also, I don't think we mentioned about him. He also is under control through next season. So him and Kopech are the same in that sense. But yeah, Carlos Estévez has been really good this season. I mean, he has closing experience, so he's kind of in that, Kyle Finnegan, Tanner Scott mold, where if Paul Sewald is down for a day, or, dare I say, if Sewald has some struggles here in the next month and the Diamondbacks decide they want to go in a different direction in the closing role, which I don't really anticipate, but if it happened, Estevez is someone who has a lot of experience in that role and is 20 for 23 in save opportunities this year. And yeah, all of the numbers really check out here. He has a 2.67 expected ERA, a 2.85 FIP, as you mentioned. His fly ball rate is extremely high this year. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but he's managed to be very successful. Nonetheless, hasn't given up, an inordinate number of home runs or anything. So Estevez makes a lot of sense. I think it's sort of a given that the Angels are going to trade him. It would make no sense for them to hold on. So Estevez, the D-backs, is something that, unlike the other two guys we just talked about, this one I'm on board with, Derek. This one actually makes a lot of sense for them.
However, the cost could be very high, and the Angels are going to have a lot of suitors for an arm like Estevez there, even as a rental.
Yeah.
So many teams are going to be in it. He can really solidify a lot of bullpens. I know the Minnesota Twins are very bullish on bringing him in, and I know that a couple of other teams are interested in him as well. So hopefully the Diamondbacks, I guess it's a matter of like how much do they want to give up? And I mean, we haven't been talking about that portion of it because it's difficult. It's difficult to
what the
figure
Angels
out.
would want. It's very, very hard to figure something like that out. But with the Angels, it doesn't, they're not necessarily asking for guys who are on your major league roster. At least right. I wouldn't necessarily think that's the case with a team like them.
I'll tell you this much. I know we brought him up yesterday, but with everything that's happened with Davison De Los Santos, trading him could be enormous because his value, I imagine, is very, very high right now. And in a way, the Diamondbacks are playing with house money when it comes to De Los Santos because he was already gone, right? He was already a member of the Guardians.
That's true.
I know it took the Guardians, obviously, not keeping him on the major league roster in order for him to come back through the Rule 5 draft. But still, it very much feels like he is one of the best minor leaguers that the Diamondbacks have that the organization could see as expendable, considering they already lost him, right? So
yeah, I think that, I mean, anyone who is having like a really good season in the minors, I mean, naturally, those are the guys that teams are maybe going to want, right? We saw Ryan Bliss be a part of that trade for Paul Sewald with the Mariners last year when he was having a really, really good season in the minors as well. So yeah, I mean, Davison De Los Santos, Adrian Del Castillo also comes to mind.
No, you don't get him. I don't want this to be a Toronto situation with our guy, Gabby Moreno, because, of course, he makes it easy to say, yes, we want to move on. But, I mean, Adrian Del Castillo and Gabby Moreno as your two catchers, I'm
just saying that in terms of what other teams are going to want.
Correct.
The value on, I mean, frankly, if you look at the D-backs, like, top prospect list, whichever one you want to look at, not many of them have really been all that great this year, right? Drew Jones has been a little bit hit or miss. He has like an 800 OPS in A-ball. Tommy Troy's been hurt a lot. Came back recently. He's been looking better, but his numbers for the season still aren't all that impressive. Gino Groover's been hurt almost the entire year. He just came back from injury. So I don't think teams are going to be asking about those guys as much, or
Yeah.
at least the D-backs
It's fair.
probably wouldn't want to trade them anyway, because you're not really trading them at a time where their value is maximized. So, it's going to hurt, right? If you actually do land a Carlos Estévez, if you do land, one of these relievers that a lot of teams are going to be chasing after, it's going to cost you something. And we certainly saw that last year with the Paul Sewald trade.
Trade a left-handed outfielder. You know what I mean? We got plenty of those. We got a surplus.
You want to trade Jake McCarthy?
Oh, no,
I
guess, yeah, no, that's probably wrong. That's probably not the thing to do, but.
We all silly like the mayor.